Okay, so we have box office results for the weekend, and it's not good. It's worse than what they projected. In fact, looking at it, it doesn't sound as bad as it really was. I believe it was Friday to Saturday was a 80% drop compared to the previous week. Now, altogether, it ended up being about 66% of a drop from first to second weekend, which is really bad still. I mean, that's up there with the Thunderbolts. And the Thunderbolts flopped. So Fantastic Four is more than likely going to be a catastrophic drop. Another bad failure for Marvel. And I can already project some of the comments saying this was a good movie. And you know, I get it. It wasn't a terrible movie. I like to kind of poke fun of it a little bit, but at the end of the day, it's okay. It's not a terrible movie. It has some problems. Both this movie and Superman have some problems. It doesn't mean you can't enjoy them, and I think both movies are pretty good. Sadly, though, nobody is showing up for really both of them, though domestically, Superman is doing good. Internationally, both movies are failing. But there's a difference between Superman and Fantastic Four here domestically. With the Marvel movie, everybody rushed out to go see it in the first weekend, and they're not going back. So here's what I can tell you is going on with Marvel. They're all front-loaded. Everyone's rushing to see them, and no one's going back. And that's not just a Marvel problem. That's an every movie problem now. Nobody's going back for repeat viewings. I think the days of the billion-dollar movie are over, or at least the billion-dollar comic book movie, unless it's Spider-Man or something like that. Those days are over. People going back for repeat business, that's over. So Hollywood's got to get their budgets down. Fantastic Four costing as much as it did, that stuff needs to end. Like, Hollywood really needs to bring their budgets down. And it's not just Fantastic Four. Naked Gun might have problems making money. I loved Naked Gun. I thought Naked Gun was hilarious. Pretty sure my last video I talked about the movie. The jokes are nonstop. It's a funny movie. You miss some jokes because you're so busy laughing at the previous one, you miss the next one. It's a funny movie. I really enjoyed it. But this movie might have trouble making its money back. I think it costs like $45 million to make, and on the surface levels, it will brought in $20 million. Remember, they only get half of that money. So I think the Naked Gun will thrive thanks to word of mouth, so more people will go see it, and I think it'll end up making money. Hopefully, because I'd like more comedies. That was the best thing about the Naked Gun. Is like, wow, we got a funny comedy in the theaters again. So Fantastic Four is done. Like, next week, it's going to fall even harder. So here's what they're saying. There's a bit of a calm spell at the box office before the Freakier Friday Weapons double bill happening next weekend. Yeah, those movies are going to crush. Weapons is going to do pretty good. Freaky Friday will probably make a shitload of money. That's a really liked franchise. I don't know how many times you can do the same movie, though, but people keep going to see them. That's the frame everyone is excited about, with a potentially over-indexing female millennial title and an original horror movie. Overall, first weekend is August is $126 million per ComScore, which is 27% in the negative from a year ago. Still, there was a nice variety on the marquee to keep audiences interested, not just superhero movies, but a family animated movie and the potential comeback of big screen comedy. I'm kind of surprised at that. So it was called The Bad Guys. Bad Guys 2. I'm surprised it only pulled in $22 million. That's a family animated movie. I was a little shocked that was that low. I thought it would have done a little bit better. Naked Gun's about what I think most people expected, around $17 million domestic. For now, the first weekend of August has the Fantastic Four First Steps at 11.7 million on Friday. That's the really bad day. Friday was really bad. For a 40 million second sesh and 198.4 running cum. That's a 66% decline, up there with Captain America and Thunderbolts. So Captain America crashed at 68%. Thunderbolts crashed at 56%, which actually is not a bad hold. But that movie still bombed. Brave New World was a massive bomb. So it's going to have the same box office as Brave New World, which is kind of surprising because this is the Fantastic Four. But like I've said before, how strong is that brand? Marvel's ran that brand into the ground. Remember, never forget, they stopped making Fantastic Four merchandise and comics because Fox had the movie rights. So they went out of their way to hurt that brand. And I just don't think it's been that strong in a long time. I don't think Fantastic Four is that strong of a brand anymore. I don't think Superman is either. And I like Superman a lot. But I'm just being real. Superman's doing okay, but internationally he's not doing that well. I don't think it has anything to do with him being tied to Americana like James Gunn had to say either. I just think the character isn't as strong as it used to be. And it's the same with Fantastic Four. But these movies all would have done much better if these companies had went out of their way to ruin comic book movies over the past few years. The damage has been done. And I don't think you can reverse it outside of resting this type of movie for a while. I don't know how long you have to sit them down and not talk about them and stop making them. I don't know. But comic book movies, it is time to rest them. But they're not going to do that. Well, they're going to find out real hard when Doomsday and Secret Wars come out. I don't think those movies are going to do that well. I don't. Especially if Spider-Man's not in them. They better go out of their way to make sure Sony lets them use Peter Parker. And you better put him at the front. You better have him all the posters, the merchandise, everything. So, the pick is booked at 4,125 theaters. And craters is a big word, as 60 percentile drops are par the course with superhero films, but we can't deny that this is sharper than Superman's very good 53% second weekend hold. On the upside, Fantastic Four's first 10 days are pacing 19% of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. That movie ended its stateside run at $214.5 million. What's clear is that there's a ceiling here for certain types of superhero IP. In addition, let's face it, let's fact it. Marvel made a very good movie in Fantastic Four, evident that it's the franchise's highest grossing of all time. With inflation, what about that, though? That's a lie, I think. IMAX at 5.2 million repped 13% of the pick's second weekend, the largest format exhibitor, counting a running total of 26.3 million. And that's pretty much it. And then you can see the weekend numbers here. Naked Gun. I wonder what that movie did internationally. I don't have those numbers yet. I hope it did good. This is the only movie I really care about because I would love for comedies to come back. So it needs to make money. I don't know why it cost $45 million to make this movie, by the way. I don't understand how you couldn't get that budget down to like 25. Hollywood needs to work on their budgets. That's your biggest problem in Hollywood, are the damn budgets. They're so high. You got to get those budgets down. You got to figure that out. This movie should have been a $25 million movie, and then it'd be bathing in money. But I really want the Naked Gun to do good. It's the first time I've cared about a movie in a while. And I know a lot of people probably disagree because I know there's people out there that don't like it as much as the originals. And I agree, the originals are better. But this movie is still really funny. It's a funny movie, and it's a comedy. I'd love for comedies to come back. I miss going to the theaters and seeing comedies. Comedies are fun, man. It's probably the funnest movies to go watch. You can Usually watch them a hell of a lot more than any other type of genre. Remember when we used to have so many good comedies, everybody be quoting them and having fun talking about them and laughing at the scenes with people, like outside of the theaters, just reminiscing on them. Like we haven't had that in so long. All there is Marvel comedies. Sick of that shit, man. I want dedicated comedies to come back. So I hope this movie does good. If you're on the fence, I'm telling you, it's a funny movie. It's really funny. So I just don't see Marvel rebounding. And let me show you why. There's 3. Keep in mind, it's a hat trick. So Thunderbolts, Captain America, and Fantastic Four. All flops. And I don't think anything's going to change because just as recent as X-Men 97, Bo DeMeo put out this tweet, man, and it's really revealing, talking about how the VP of Marvel Animation was calling, like he wanted to use, I don't know if they're still going to use it, but he was going to do The Adventures of Cyclops and Phoenix, which was a book where Scott and Jean get put into a couple's bodies in the future, and they raise Cable. And they use the nicknames Slim and Red to hide their identities. And this VP of Marvel Animation was like, this is stupid. Let's just give them these random names. And it's like, dude, this is like a comic book. Like, this is a respect to the source material here. And she just didn't get it. And she can't get that. She's in charge. And these are the kind of people running that company. I'm sorry, man. They're not coming back anytime soon. What a stupid thing to get mad about. And he's dropping shit like this all the time. It sounds like it's a shit show over there. And it needs to get better or they're done. I don't even think they can come back, to be honest. I think they're screwed. It's funny. That's why they're putting out Spider-Man pictures. Like, we got to get people excited somehow, so let's show them the new suit, which I admit, it looks great. That new suit looks fantastic. A very comic accurate suit. I like it. I like it a lot. But, you know, too little, too late, maybe. Now, this movie's going to do great. I think this movie's going to do good. They got the Punisher coming back. He's going to be in it. That's fantastic. Scorpion's going to be in it. This could be fun. This will be the only movie. It'd be funny if it makes $1 billion. Comic book movies are back. It's like, well, I don't think so. It's Spider-Man. Even in a dead world of like a dead comic book box office, Spider-Man can still make money. So could Wolverine, Batman. Those are going to be like the only characters that can do it. Yeah, this might be the end of comic book movies. Let me know in the comments. Do you think comic book movies are dead? Let me know. What are your thoughts? Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video, hit that notification bell, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.